All right, students, this week we're going to talk about inequalities and how to solve inequalities. If you know how to solve an equation, you will know how to solve an inequality. The only new thing would be the notation. So interval notation is another way of expressing the answer to an inequality. It uses parentheses and brackets to show where the graph starts and ends. So the first thing that I want to cover with you is the symbols. So we have less than, we have greater than, we have less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. This symbol means not equal to, so not, right? And you know equal, right? Okay. So remember, just a little note here. The bigger side is the bigger number, okay? So always think that. So the bigger side is the bigger number. This side is the smallest number, right? Where it closes. Some people think of it like a little, like a nature, right? Something like that. Anyway, so the mouth opens, right? This is the bigger side. So just for people to remember that, okay? I know it's middle school, but just, so everybody's on the same page. So let's continue. So parentheses, so it means not included. So when you use parentheses to write your interval, notate your interval, when you find the answers, when you use parentheses, it means that that number is not included, meaning that you're going to be using it when you use greater than or less than symbols. It's not equal to, it's greater than that number, right? Or less than that number, right? So that number, it's not necessarily included. So we also use an open circle in the graph. So when we have the number line, we have to use an open circle because that number is not included. Now, when we use brackets, that number is included. So meaning that when we use the symbols greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, those two use the bracket to answer for the answer. And in the graph, you're gonna have to like fill in your circle basically. So it's closed. It's a closed circle. So another important thing to know is that when you have infinity or negative infinity, you always use parentheses. So they're never really included. It's just there's not an actual number. So it's infinity. It's like every number, right? All right. So we always use parentheses next to infinity and negative infinity. If you guys didn't know, this is the infinity sign and negative infinity sign. It looks like a lay down number eight kind of thing. All right. So then it says direction, solve graph, and write the solution to each inequality in interval notation, meaning using the symbols, but I'll show you what I mean. All right, so the first thing is treat these as if you were solving an equation. So we're gonna solve an equation. We're gonna distribute first. So 4x plus 12 is greater than negative 24. And then we just solve it as if we had an equal sign here. Same thing, okay? But there's one thing that we have to remember, but not in this one. This one is fine. It's when you divide by a negative number. So let's do this. So that's, but not right now, right? So I forgot the x here. So minus 12, that goes away. And then I have 4x greater than negative 36. And then I divide by 4, right? By 4. And then I have x is greater than negative 9. Now, this can be written like this, or you can have an answer like this. This is the same thing as that. Notice that the opening is on the x. So you could see the answer like that or like that. So like when the x is, and then the number, or the number is whatever on the x. So you have to know that you can see answers like this. This is the same as this. When you write them, you have to know that you have to write them in the same form, right? Okay. All right. So just checking on that. Anyway, so to write the interval notation, we're going to be using a parenthesis, right, next to the number, because it doesn't, in an open circle, because it doesn't have an equal sign here. So it's just less than or greater than. So we're going to go x is greater than -9. Well, let's just write a -9 here. -9. So to the right, it's going to be more. To the left, it's going to be less, right? So this is -10, -11, and so on. -8, -7, -6, right? So that's a regular graph, because remember, 0 is going to be up here, like over here, right? So it's going to go lower on this side and higher on this side. So x is going to start here. It's going to have an open circle. And then it's going to be all numbers greater than -9. So it's going to be going to your right with an open circle. And you're done. Now, the interval notation will look like what? All the numbers to your right is going to be infinity to the right. And then -9 is not included. So we use parentheses, comma, and then positive infinity parentheses. And that's it. All right, let's do another one. No, it's a lot of information. You have to remember. It's a few things you have to remember here. All right, so let's solve the equation. Hopefully solving the equation, it's not the problem. All right, so we're gonna distribute that 3 inside the parentheses. We're gonna treat it like if there was an equal sign. So that's x, and then -3x minus -3 times 2, that's -6, and then it's greater than 4. And we combine these two, right? So that's 1 minus 3, that is -2x minus 6 is greater than 4. Then we're going to add 6 on both sides, and then that's -2x is greater than +10. And then you divide, so -2x is greater than +10. We divide by -2, and then we got x. Now, in this case, we're going to add one more step, because since we're dividing by a -2, you have to flip this sign, okay? So always, when you divide by a negative number at the end of your equation here, you're going to have to divide equation on your inequality here. You're going to have to flip this sign when you divide by a negative number. So let's flip it. Flip the sign, and then that's -5. Okay? All right, and then we're using open circle, again, parentheses. So let's find -5, let's graph it. So anything to the right can be bigger, so that's -4, -3, -2, -6, -7. And then the open circle would be on the -5. And then we're gonna go x is less than, so anything to the left side, right? And I'm done. So my notation is open circle, so it's -5. It's going to be all to the left, right? So we're going to use all the negative numbers, comma, and then the highest number is going to be written on the right side, and then it's a parenthesis. So what it says here is that all the negative numbers, infinity, negative infinity, and then the highest number, right? It's going to be -5. All right, let's do one with equal sign here. So we're going to solve it first. So that is that times that times that, that's 7x minus 2x plus 8 is less than or equal to -2. Combine like terms, 7 minus, that's 5x plus 8. And then subtract 8 on both sides. And then that would be 5x is less than or equal to -10. And then you divide by 5. Now this is positive, so I don't have to switch that sign, right? So that's x is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay. Now we're gonna find negative 2 here. Let's just graph it. I usually put the number and then put the higher numbers here and the lower numbers here. So that's negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 1, 0, 1, right? All right, and then all the numbers that are gonna be less than negative 2, but equal to also. So we're gonna close the circle, negative 2, and it's gonna be all this side over here. And then the way we write this, well, negative 2 is included. And again, it's to the left. So we're going to use negative infinity. And then negative 2 will be included. So it looks like that. Okay, it's only included because it's equal. It's also equal to. All right, so I hope this helps. There are a few things to remember here. The switching the sign when you divide by a negative. You use parentheses when infinity and negative infinity. You put the lowest number on this first side and the highest number on this side, right? Little details. And then open circle for parentheses and close circle for brackets. Okay. And then obviously your signs, right? Your inequality signs. This is less than, so your smaller number will be here. Your higher number will be on this side, in the open part. And then this is less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and then you have your not equal, and then obviously your equal sign. These are not part of inequalities, it's just this for checking up. All right, I hope this helps.